Hi friends, I'm very happy to be with you once more, and as I always tell you, I'm still happier to welcome you over to this session. And I needn't repeat, my not liking the word session, because that conjures up before me a typical classroom where the teacher rules over children. And children actually should be playing, having fun, all that, not at the expense of these rules. So now, before we start today's session, why not we try to remember what we have been talking about in the last session. Do you remember? I'm not quite sure, but I think my memory is reliable. I think we have been talking about making people understand things and also make sure that you understand them. Both are equally important for communication, and bear in mind, communication is our ultimate goal in English, so that life becomes successful for you these days when English is the globally accepted spoken language. And so we also discussed some dialogues where this was done. For example, the teacher in the classroom is defining. She's trying to explain what velocity is. It's a technical term. So naturally, children will have difficulty in understanding. So they'll say, "Ma'am, would you mind repeating it or clarifying it?" And any teacher definitely will accept it and then make it still clearer. Maybe she'll use simpler language, however. So that was an example. Now, we are proceeding to today's session, and what do you think we are going to talk about? It's about agreeing and disagreeing. Certain things we can agree, we agree, but certain other things we can't agree. And also there are occasions when we partially agree. So let's have a look at some of these commonly used expressions for agreeing to what somebody says. There are quite a lot, there are different ways in which you can actually express yourself, and so that it is intelligible to the listener. For instance, you see, to show that the situation is such that you want to say that you totally agree, and how do you express it? Say, okay, or just all right, very true, I totally agree with you. Nobody can disagree, implying that absolute agreement. Like this, any one of these, and you can, in your own way, you can put it, because these are all situations which arise in our daily lives. And as I always remind you, the best way to remember or to make it part of your repertoire, your habit, is to practice. It's not actually, I don't like to use the word practice, because it should be a pleasurable experience for you. You live it, because such situations are very common in your life and my life. Now, let's have a look at commonly used expressions for disagreeing. You don't disagree with what somebody else says. Now, how do you put it? See, this all will naturally, begin with a no, because it is negative. You don't agree. No, never. I can't agree with you. Then again, you may add a sorry, because as I always tell you, English is a very polite language. The best example is the response to thank you. Should I repeat it? 1,000 times I have repeated it, I believe. It's my pleasure, or you're welcome, all that. Now, coming back to this disagreement. So, no, no, no. I totally disagree. There's no doubt about it. Then I also told me there are situations where there are instances of partial agreement. Partial agreement. That is, you don't agree totally, but partially. So how do you express that? Maybe again there are quite a few ways of putting it. For instance, no, never. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, no, this is partial. Partial means no, but you may think so, but say on the other hand, and you point out the other side of it. That means you accept one part of it, but then not the other part, or it's partial. Okay, and after this expressing this, you can also make sure that the person whom you are talking to, trying to convince that person why you disagreed. Make sure that now it's okay with him. For that you may say, okay, now it's all right, now you understand me, now you understand why I disagreed with you, and so on and so forth. Now, so these are the things. Then once again, as I always tell you, let's move on to what you call practice session. Practice, which again I don't want to say practice, because it should be an easy thing. It's not a task imposed on you. Because everyday life it happens, So, you, for example, you meet a friend and then you greet that person. Hi, how are you? Fine, etc., etc. So, make it part of your life and have such a pleasant time, living it in your life, and by and by it will become yours. So, till then, bye-bye until we see again. Bye, cheerio.